A battle raged at the end of the first tournament. The forces of Earthrealm were facing their greatest challenge. Mortal Kombat!
Welcome to the Higher Energy Superpower. This is episode 26 of the Turbo Duo Cast. I'm your host, Salvatore Mata, and to my left is my brother from another game show lover. He is the oral assassin. He puts the ass in classic gaming. Everybody is trying to E-Right the third.
Too legit to quit. Hey.
And becoming a regular member of the Turbo Duo Cast is the little man, the big man himself, still with the RWX bracelet.
I still got mine too.
Oh, I took mine off. Is Salvatore Thomas Mata, superstar soccer Mata.
Wow.
In the building.
That's a lot. That's a lot to take in at once. Pause.
It's a big deal, Sal. What happened yesterday? You played in what?
My tournament.
Soccer tournament? Mm-hmm. And how'd you guys do?
We did good, and we were in second place.
Second place.
We did very, very well.
Went all the way to the final game, only lost in overtime, right?
Versus Orange.
Versus the Orange team, who was really great.
Boo.
Well, you know, somebody's got to win, right? But they got a nice trophy, and they did great. We were proud of the little guys, so congratulations, Sal. And on to it. So this is a sort of unconventional episode for the past 2 years.
Well, no, it's a convention episode.
Because it's a convention episode. And we were blessed with the opportunity to finally go to a convention for the first time in a couple of years.
It was Retro World Expo.
As you can see by the title of this episode, it was the Retro World Expo 2021, which is now, how many have they had? This has got to be number 7?
They skip a year, then you add a year.
Yeah.
It could be 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Because I think it was
2015.
It was 15 that I went with you when we were at the was it Wallingford?
Yeah, they did the first 2 there, I think.
And I missed the year before. You went to the 1 year before. Sal had the flu that year that I went, and I got lambasted for going.
You went for like 10 minutes. You're like, gone. All right, I got 3 things. I'm out.
You were good about it though. You came back with me. And then the little guy came the next year, the following year, which was the first year at the convention center in Hartford. So
we were there today. Yesterday.
So if you guys weren't there, just to describe it, I mean the vibe was really good. It was, you know, it was just like being back in 2019, like
y'all know the vibes.
A whole decade before, and I would say there were more games there this year than I've ever seen. What say you, Trent?
Yeah, I felt like there was way more vendors there this time around,
which is awesome to see.
Just more people are in the game, so to speak, EA Sports style, you know.
I know, and you know, it was great to catch up with friends too. That's one thing about these conventions when we're able to get to them, and that's why we feel so lucky to be there, because you get to catch up with all the people that you knew before, that you've been in the game with, no pun intended. And a lot of your friends that kind of do the retro gaming scene, because let's face it, in our daily lives, in your work life, I mean, how many people are you running into that do, you know, retro video games and you can have these conversations about? So just the aspect of going to these places just to talk about retro video games with other peers that do the same thing, that are in their 30s or in their 40s, right? To be able to do that is kind of few and far between. So it was great catching up with everybody. You know, like I said, it's been 2 years since we've been able to do this because of the pandemic, and you know, we're kind of humbled by that opportunity, because there's a chance. I mean, we realize now that this might not exist, right? And so we just feel great about that. Thanks to Ryan and the crew over at Retro Games Plus. They did an awesome job, including, you know, Chris who put on the show. So you know, we're you know, we thank those guys for putting it on, because without them, show doesn't happen, guys. So you know, if you know those guys, reach out to them, say thank you. It's the Retro Games Plus guys. They've got store locations in Orange. They've got a location in Norwalk, Newington, Connecticut, and they're also in Huntington Beach, California. So if you're out there, check out, and if you're near Huntington Beach, check out Retro Games Plus out there. Just a little plug for those guys, because they're awesome. I learned, Trenton, that people come from all over the U.S. to be vendors at the show.
Oh, really? I mean,
Yeah.
I figured from like New York, Boston, Mass.
So I met a guy who came to the show for the first time, and he said he came because his buddy came up from Maryland
okay.
to be a vendor at the show.
Oh, like his friend from Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not like a cakewalk. I mean, going from Maryland is.
I mean, especially if you got to bring all your supply with you.
That's what I'm saying. So that's a pretty long drive to get there. So, RWX is a growing thing, and it's just great to see that people are coming from all over the place to be a part of it. We had not only vendors, but we've got content creators that have been there, and of course that was the years past. But they're still coming too, and they're getting some of the
bigger names.
The big hitters. Was Metal Jesus there?
He was.
Yeah.
My friend said he had a line like for hours.
Did he really?
To do like like a meet and
greet type of thing?
Yeah. I was like, wow, man, serious.
It is. So, anyways, we feel blessed. Bravo to you guys. Great job. I feel like we've talked about, Trent, how the pandemic kind of brought prices higher. I think we saw some of that at the show too, where a lot of the big hitters were even larger, and some of the games that were sort of $20-$30 games were $50 games today or yesterday when we went to the show.
Hey, Daddy.
Yes, Sal. We're gonna get to the games. We're gonna get to all the games.
Hey, can we get to the games?
We're just setting the table. We're just setting the table.
Just set the table.
Well, yeah, figuratively we're setting the table though. Literally, we set the table before we started recording. So, I love you though. Thank you so much for expressing that.
That was perfect. That was beautiful.
Anyways,
I mean, overall, I didn't see too many.
I'm not saying anything was
crazy
outlandish.
prices.
I'm saying that you saw that trend move forward. So with the pandemic pricing going up, you saw that reflect in some of the stuff that we were looking at the show too.
Yeah, I feel like
which is understandable.
I know more about the prices now than I did a few years ago. I feel like I'm up on most of the pricing.
Well, you're finding a lot more out in the wild when you're doing your hunting, right?
Yeah, and there'll be days where I'll just randomly look up some games I already have or whatever just to see what they're going for.
So my comment to that though, and I guess why I wanted to mention it is because I feel like we saw a lot of games, and my thought and my query is it possible that people are buying less games because of the prices going up, and it's causing a kind of a glut in terms of supply for these retro games where, okay, well, normally you might get 2 or 3 games, but now you only bought one in general, like what I mean,
one high priced game.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I saw a lot of high priced games that I was like, how are they going to sell all those? Because even for the avid collector to spend, some of these games are going for $1,000 or more. Some of these really choice games, it used to be a rare thing where a game was higher than $300.
Yeah,
now
there's a lot.
That was a rare thing. Now it seems like a much more regular thing where it's like, $3, $4, $5, $6, $750, $850. You're seeing that a lot more commonplace, and what I feel like is going to happen, and you tell me your thoughts on this, but I feel like it's going to create this glut of supply, and that there's going to be a tipping point where everything just starts to come down a little bit.
Price wise,
I really feel like it's going to get to the point, because think about it, like, and we'll get to it with the games, but we've talked about how we're getting to the point in our gaming collecting, right, over the past decade where we kind of feel like there's really not a whole lot that we're trying to obtain, and even still, it's like our energy level about spending that much money for things is kind of waning a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that's happening with you and me, it's happening with, and I spoke with a few friends at the show who said the same. I was talking to Samurai Sam, and he expressed the same exact thing. Was, it's like at this point, he's like buying dioramas, which is like
I'm buying Gundam figures.
Yeah,
now.
it's like that. That's like, I feel like that's my next step is like buying those really cool 3-dimensional dioramas of like game scenes that make you feel all warm and toasty.
Man, I don't know. I guess it depends on what level of a collector you are and how much.
Well, if you're John Hancock, you got to have everything. Which he was at the show, wasn't he?
Sure, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I physically didn't see any of the famous YouTube channel personalities there. Yeah. But I mean, the only one I remember seeing was Metal Jesus' booth, but he wasn't there. He had already
closed down,
done his thing. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but I guess it depends on where you are in your collecting. If you're just getting started, I guess you might go for some of the smaller games that are more affordable right now, and then it's like when you've got like those ones out of the way, then you can start going for the higher priced ones.
I feel like getting into retro gaming was a cool thing 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago because you could get the choice games for a system, like the really good ones, for not too much money. Now I feel to get even like the best games for the system, you're gonna have to spend a pretty penny to get the real experiences on each. Like say like the top 10 games for each system.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to spend for it now.
Yeah, like for like Genesis, you're like Streets of Rage.
Right. That was
all of them are 50 plus.
That was a $20 game 2 years ago. You know, two and a half years ago.
I mean, Contra hardcore, like 160,
right?
170.
Castlevania, you know. So, anyways, that's just kind of an observation. So it's interesting to see where we go from here because I do feel like there's this glut of supply considering the amount of quantity we saw, and I think that people are just going to start buying less. And you think about our generation, right? You've got a decade of real hardcore collecting, you know, where it's really blown up since like I would say that, you know, the early 2010s.
Yeah.
Where we're all kind of getting to that place. So like what happens with that supplier when somebody wants to sell something and there's no buyer on the other end? You know, it's going to have to bring that price down.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I'm sure
which is good. That'll be a good thing when it happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it will go down a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. You just, I mean, you think about like other collecting, like action figures and stuff. I mean, they've always kind of
that's probably a similar
held
analog.
Their value. They've dipped here and there, but they've always kind of held their value. Like, I mean, I'm just speaking about G.I. Joe, Star Wars, wrestling figures.
Well, you would know more on that.
Yeah. I mean, their value hasn't decreased much, you know. I mean, it's the same with video games. A lot of them have gone up crazy prices.
The thing I want to mention though that's different about video games, especially disc-based video games, and my friend Andrew, you know, said this yesterday while we were talking, is there's a shelf life for disc-based video games. Maybe not necessarily cartridge ones, but a figure is not going to disintegrate and not be able to be used after a while. You know what I mean? So what happens to that market? And maybe that makes that market that much more accelerated because now there's going to be less supply, you know, out in the wild because these things are going to start to go bad. Maybe that's the case too, you know? So it's interesting to see where this is going to go. The one thing I would say is be resourceful, guys, you know? Don't jump at the first thing just because you want it or got to have it. Take your time and look for deals and even look to you know, piece things together because you can do it that way sometimes too. And look for lots. You know, lots are great ways to pick up a bunch of stuff at once and get good value. So with that being said, did you have another comment?
No, I was going to say, like, if you're at a convention and you're just like looking around and then like a game catches your eye, if it's not a need and it's more just like a want, like you don't think it's one of those games that no one's really going to pick up anyway, just walk around for a few hours and then come back and then, you know, try to haggle. If it's like 40,
right?
Like, just be like, hey man, I don't really need this game, but I'll give you $30 for it.
Right.
You know,
you got to act as if.
Yeah.
You can't be wanting.
Yeah, because that's how they get you.
Well, and you've had a lot of luck with the bins. Like you found stuff in the past. Like you found that Joe and Mac one year, and they had it for like I don't know $5. It was just like a closeout. And sometimes they'll have bins out there of just like games that they think are sort of throwaways, and you can find some good stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, one of the games I found I think is a great game, but you wouldn't, you know, it's kind of in the middle, right? And so sometimes you'll find that stuff in a bin. You know what I mean? Like a Joe and Mac. Like, well, I'm going to mention it.
Oh, I thought you meant like previously.
No. But like there were a lot of those bins out there, you know, and there were people cutting deals too on certain things.
Yeah, I got the Joe and Mac, and I think I got the Super Hang On in that same bin.
That's great.
Yeah, for like a couple bucks each.
Yeah.
I know that Joe and Mac is, you know, I don't know. I think it's like a $30 game now, maybe.
Yep.
For the cart.
That's the one to get. So
yeah, it's a good game too. Real solid.
So with that being said, before we get into the games, okay.
We're going to set the table.
We're going to set it a little bit more. So I wanted to ask you guys, Sal, I wanted to ask you first, and then we'll ask Uncle Trenton. But Favorite thing about the show and least favorite thing about the show this year.
Ooh, wow.
I'll put you on the spot.
Least favorite?
Least favorite thing about the show and your favorite thing about the show.
My favorite thing was I saw a bunch of Atari Jaguar games.
Yeah. I appreciate that. That's good. I don't think anybody would think that, anybody would say that. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's because they're just...
Highlander on Jaguar CD. I saw that one.
And Myst. Yeah, this guy had just had a bunch of them just like sitting there. Like, he had NBA Jam, Super Burnout.
The best version of NBA Jam.
I think he had Ultra Vortex
in
too.
existence.
I mean, I guess technically that's my favorite. I mean, I just wanted to.
That's all right.
I just wanted to be there. I was like, even if I don't get anything, I'm just like looking through all this stuff. Like,
but that's the thing that I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Is
it got me mad.
These conventions are part of our culture, right? It's not just about the games; it's about everything that comes with them, and so I just feel incredibly blessed and grateful that we were able to go to this thing and enjoy it. So I was excited about that, and just connecting, right, is a great thing, and just talking about games. And did you meet anybody who was a Jaguar head?
No, just that when we were getting our ticket, that guy was like, "Yo, where'd you get that backpack?"
I want that backpack now.
I had my Atari Jaguar backpack on because that's what you need at a convention to put all your games in.
Absolutely. The skinniest backpack that you possibly can find.
Fill the Jag bag.
We got to have a segment on the show called Fill the Jag Bag. Or What's in the Jag Bag.
In the Jag bag,
yeah.
They could only be
Should actually do that.
Atari related items. I don't know, favorite thing? I don't know if there was like a least favorite.
Least favorite, yeah.
I don't know if there was
or something that you just... Or something you think is a throwaway, or something that is you think getting old, or something they should change about it, or anything.
Oh, about the Expo?
Yeah. Well, what do you think I'm talking about?
No, I know. I don't know if there was anything I disliked.
I like all of it.
I don't know if there was anything I disliked. I mean, I guess you could just say like prices, but that's not really.
No.
I don't know, man. I don't. I think it was great. I don't know. Maybe it was just because it was been so long since we've been to one that it was just like anything would be fine.
Yeah.
Why, did you have something you disliked?
Maybe.
Is it a person, place, or thing?
20 questions. Well, we'll get to it. Well, I can talk about it now. I mean, so my favorite thing about the show was the people and the vendors. Just to name a few people, like you know who you are: Kyle, Steve, Sam, Ryan, Kevin, Andrew, Noah. I mean, the list goes on, but those are some of the people we connected with, and just awesome to talk with our friends and be able to chit chat people we haven't seen in 18 to 22 months, and finally able to connect and chat and be able to just talk old video games, man. Right? This is our history. This is what we know. This is what we do. This is how we grew up, and to be able to share that with other people, to connect socially. That's what life is all about, and to be able to do that in this setting is a beautiful thing. So obviously you can tell I appreciated being there. And then vendors making deals. There were vendors making deals, like for what we've talked about in the past. Driving hard bargains. It seemed like even though the prices are elevated, there were vendors more willing to make deals this year than I've seen in the past.
So?
And
so?
and that's what kind of gets me thinking that maybe there's a something turning here about the retro game market, where vendors are feeling some pressure to start bringing things down a little bit. I don't know.
I mean, it's like you're there to sell. You got.
That's the thing, right? So, I mean, I saw some stuff where, people could have gotten much more online, but they were willing to sell it for less, in person, and it cuts out a lot of the crap. A lot of the, you don't got to pay tax, but you also don't have to haggle like online. You just say, hey, listen, I'll pay you this. Will you take it or not? It's yes or no, and that's cool. If it's yes, it's cool. If it's no, it's not cool. It's cool. In the words of Paul Mooney,
Yeah. It's also like, when you like ask about, because a lot of people don't put the prices on some of the games, and then
I understand not doing that.
No, but I'm saying when they don't put the price on the game, like, oh, how much is this game?
Oh, let me look it up.
Yeah, then you're like,
oh, come on, man.
they pull up.
I know what it costs online. You need to tell me what you want for it.
They pull up like the price charting, and
yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah. Once you do that,
you know
over.
what grinds my gears?
So that's your least favorite thing about the show.
Yeah, it's when they gotta like is there one guy that?
No, I'm gonna talk about that. Believe me. You asked me if I have a least favorite thing. I said yes, maybe. Any other comments?
Well, no, I mean it's going to be on that.
Well, we can talk about it when I talk about it.
Yeah.
So my least favorite thing about the show was, well, what did I say my favorite thing was? The people and the vendors?
Yeah.
My least favorite thing was the people and the vendors. Specifically,
Both of these things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, two things can be true at the same time, just as Ben Shapiro says. So the people and the vendors, more so the vendor, and I say the vendor because there was...
There's really only one.
There's always one.
I'm talking about you.
Yeah, and you know who I'm talking about if you're watching this, and you probably aren't, and it's because you're a faker. So there's this one guy, and I saw him at the last show too.
So you already knew what you were getting into. You know, can't expect a different result.
You know, it's been a couple of years. He may have changed.
People
we all
don't
have,
change.
We all have grown.
Some wider.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that, but yeah, okay.
Well, we went there.
So where do I start here? So when I go up to see a game that I want, right? I will generally look and see what it's going for online because I want to get a deal, right? We're at a convention, and even if it's the same price as online, but I don't have to worry about taxes or any of that nonsense, I still might do it depending on how badly I want the game, right? So he had a Golden Axe 1 complete in the box. And I don't have that game itself. I have it on the 6-pack, unfortunately, which is one of my favorite games on Genesis. So I would like to remedy that. And it's going for on average, about 40 online. And
Usually a little cheaper, a few bucks cheaper. Too.
Yeah, maybe. And so he had it for 50. And I said, boss, listen.
You said, hey, no disrespect.
No disrespect. But it's going for 40 online. You have it listed for 50. Can you do any better than that? And he goes, well, I think I could do like 45. Okay, well, listen, if it's going for 40 online and you're charging more than that, what is my incentive to order it from you? I get it, it's right there in person, but you can't go more than that. So, all right, fine, I'm going to pass. What's the next thing that they have that I'm interested in? Expendable for Dreamcast. That's a great game a good game that I want for Dreamcast that I don't have. It's one of my only ones that I don't have that I want, aside from Gunbird 2. And so this is the most egregious one. So they have a case, right? And it's a glass case, so you can't physically touch the game.
All you see is the spine.
All you see is the spine, and then there's a little sticker on the spine, and it said $25. Okay, well, you know what? Expendable is going for about 25, maybe 30 online between there. So 25, if I could get it for 20, that would be I think a really good deal, right?
Agreed.
So he pulls it out.
Pause.
Correct. He pulls it out and then turns it over. He's got a $40 sticker on the front cover.
Hey, what's going on here?
Talk about sleight of hand. I go. You got a $40 sticker. Now I'm getting upset, right?
I'm starting to boil.
Because Golden Axe happened, and then now we're on Expendable. So he's got a $40 sticker on the front.
Get the spaghetti out. I'm boiling.
Yeah. I want to throw it right in his mouth. So I'm like, okay, you got a $40 sticker here and a $25 sticker here. Which price is it? I said it just like that. Which price is it?
What are we doing here?
That's 40. I said it's going for 25 online. I said you can't get 40 for it. How much do you want? I could do 35. I go, keep it.
Real.
You want to know why you don't sell anything?
Real angry too. You were about it.
Yeah,
too.
I go, keep it, because it's like ridiculous.
I know, but it's funny.
You wonder why they had so many good games because they weren't selling anything. So, anyways,
well, that was what I was saying. The guy next to him, because you were looking at the 64 games, and I had already gone around without you, and I was looking at. So I had pulled out the Turok because it had a $10 thing on it, and I was like,
and that's the other thing. If you're going to be a vendor, I don't care if you buy in lots and you get a bunch of stuff for cheap prices. That's what you're meant to do. You're supposed to make money. I get it, but don't leave the stickers that you bought things for on them, and then put them out, and then it's. I'm not saying you're trying to trick people, but it's like it doesn't look right when you do that. So, because the people are thinking you're trying to sell it for a certain price, and then you kind of bait them into it, and that's not really nice. So,
that's not really nice.
It's not really a nice thing to do. I mean, we're all in this together, right? Isn't that what we've been saying for 20 months?
Some of us aren't, though.
Well, probably not.
Yeah, so he had the Turok. It had a $10 thing on it, and then I grabbed the South Park game for the 64
Is that the first person shooter one?
Yeah,
I kind of want that.
Yeah, no, because I had it back in the day, so I was like, well, I mean, once again, it's not a need, but if I can just spend a little bit, I'm fine with that. And
how much does that game go for?
I don't even know, but I was just like, if it's like $20-$30 or something, I was like, all right, and we'll get both of them together. And he was like, oh, that the price on that Turok's not that price. And then he's like pulling it, he's like taking the game out. He's like, I guess in his mind or out loud, he was like, well, the box is like, that's like $10, and the manual's like 10, and the game's like 15. He's like pricing out things in his head to give me like a total, and I was just like,
Did he say 35?
No, I think he said like 40. He wanted
20, 10, and 15 is 40?
Well,
no wonder he's not selling anything.
10 is 20.
I don't know the exact
Thank
numbers,
you.
but he was like
my 7-year-old knows the answer.
He was like piecing out like each thing individually on what it's worth, and I was like, no matter what he tells me,
I'm done. Yeah, you just want to be polite and let him get his point out.
Yeah. So
pause.
Yeah. So then, because you had went back and you started and you were like, oh, you saw the 10 on it too, and I was like, it's not 10. I already went through this.
I'm glad you said that.
Like, Daddy, if we had 4 5s? No.
Yeah, 4 5s is 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Sal, favorite thing about the show?
My favorite thing or my least favorite?
Either one. What's your favorite thing or your least favorite thing? And you got to say which one it is. You can't just say the thing because we won't know.
My favorite thing was that I got to spend time at the game show.
Just to be there, right?
And my least favorite thing was...
That Daddy didn't say yes to everything?
No, was leaving.
You know what, Sal? That is poetic in its brevity. It really is.
Simple but true.
Because if we could spend more time there, we would. But you know what? That concrete floor is just too hard.
That's because you're a baby.
No.
You ain't out there working, man. You ain't in the streets.
Well, that's the problem. Is I work at a desk with a cushy chair, and I type emails all day long.
An orthopedic back chair.
You
sit on a ball. One of those like balls.
I hop on a ball.
Stability ball.
Yeah.
And you wear flip flops all day.
I wore socks around the office the other day.
Oh, well, there you go.
Sonic the Hedgehog ones.
You got Kleenex for feet. That's the problem.
Oh, thank you, Sal.
You need to set up like a charcoal pit and just walk on it all day long.
Oh, man. You know what? You know what was one of my favorite things about the show? How about that chicken sandwich? I don't know what you guys are doing at the Hartford Convention Center, but you guys are doing a great job. That chicken sandwich was good. It had like a sriracha aioli on it or something.
Oh, you got the spicy one?
The spicy one with the pickles.
It wasn't too aggressive.
It wasn't too aggressive. It was right on point. All the flavors mixed together. It could be like the hot dog at the sports game, phenomenon where it's like it tastes better because you're there.
Yeah. It was pretty solid.
It could have been there.
Waffle fries were pretty good too. For convention food, it was not bad.
No, I thought it was really good. And hearing the wrestling sounds behind us, I mean, we haven't talked about the wrestling.
Boom, slam, bang.
Yeah, there's a reason why we're good. Because even it's
because Kevin Nowens was there.
Kevin Owens? What do you say, Kevin Nowens?
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin No Wins.
Yeah, Kevin No Wins.
He wasn't there. They were just wrestlers that made.
Well, he looked like Kevin Owens, but he wasn't.
Even he knew it wasn't. Because he came up to me and he was like, "Are they doing wrestling? Because it looks like they're just doing gymnastics." Which is what Jim Cornette is all like. He hates on a lot of the wrestling because he's like, it's all choreographed gymnastics. It's not wrestling.
That's what he says.
They were like going under legs and like kicking each other in the face with like both legs, and then like they kept falling and then like going under.
Like acting, like they were more acting than anything else.
Not really.
Even he noticed it.
Because
they were just like,
I know
are they just doing gymnastics?
Seriously, like that what it looked like.
Sal, I love you so much. I mean, even without that comment, but I'm just saying.
That's what it looked like.
That's
and
awesome.
They didn't even look like professional wrestlers, so let's move on.
They didn't look like what?
Professional wrestlers.
Oh, I heard refreshing wrestlers. I was like,
well, hey. You should call into the Jim Cornette show and tell him how you feel as a 7-year-old. He'll love you.
He probably would love it because everybody who calls in is some broke down 40-year-old who's like giving up on life. No offense to anybody who's 40-year-old.
No, that didn't sound like it would offend anybody.
No offense if you're 40.
No, the way you said it. No, yeah.
And you've given up on life. I don't mean to offend you.
No, it didn't sound like it at all.
Let's get into the games, huh?
I just said that.
Let's get into the well. Before we get into the games, we got to get into the figures.
My figures.
So let's talk about your figures, Sal. So this is a prelude to the games. It might. I don't think it's telling us what games you got, but they're here. They look like the scary version of the YMCA band.
Yikes.
Well, look. I mean, you got like.
A do-bag?
You got like. Yeah, you got like Lobster Lizard Man. And then you got Lava Symbiote. What's his name? Molten Man?
Yeah, Molten Man. He's from Spider-Man.
The Dewback. So these are my. Well, I don't know. I
My
kind of like all of them.
Dewback. My Dewback. If you move his tail, his mouth opens.
I wonder if this is a Power of the Force one from the mid '90s. It's got to be, right?
Probably.
Uncle Trenton will find out.
I mean, you can keep talking.
And then what's this one, Sal? This is a special one, right?
King Kong from
the original King Kong movie back in the 1930s.
King Kong, King Kong.
King Kong in color.
Well, King Kong in color is the tape that we have. That's from Monster Mario.
From the Imperial Toy Company.
Yep. Trent, tell us a little bit about Imperial. Not that you know much about them, but
No, I really don't.
But you were telling us something about Imperial.
One got
they
sold
just make a
3
lot of
days
those.
ago.
They make a lot of those like cheap toys you'd find in the like a Stop and Shop or the grocery markets. You know,
Yeah.
like a yo-yo, a neon yo-yo,
Can I tell them
a see-through
Yep.
yo-yo,
Like a Food Lion, and you're in the
a
Mid
cap,
Atlantic.
like a cap gun,
Hey, can I
Right.
tell them about
like a
this
plastic
guy?
cap gun,
we
a
will,
jump
yeah,
rope.
we will.
A jump rope.
A
you know?
jump rope. Oh, so they make that stuff, just the miscellaneous toys.
Yeah, just like random stuff.
So what would get them
But
to
maybe
make...
they were a bigger
This looks
company
old
then.
though. This looks like it's got to be from the 80s, maybe.
I don't know what year it was from. I think it was from the 80s actually.
It just looked to me. It looks like an 80s toy. I don't know. The plastic was different when you got into the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's just from the Dubak is from 97.
Yeah, that's a Power of the Force right there.
Power.
Yeah. So we don't know what this Lobster Lizard Man is, but
He's not Lobster
he's
Lizard
there.
Man.
all right. Bug Lizard Man. I don't know what
his
to call him.
name, I'm gonna call him the Dinosaur Destruction Man.
Okay.
Sounds way better.
And then this guy's from Spider-Man.
Yes.
He's like a molten lava symbiote.
He's not a symbiote.
He's not doing well because he's got a bunch of beams going through his body.
He's burning them.
He's burning the beams.
Yeah.
His magma.
All right.
Magma.
And then what's the last figure that you got?
The last figure is a guy from Captain America.
Captain
I
America.
don't know what guy he is, but it looks like Captain America in like an evil.
It's
bad guy.
Exhibit. He became a villain.
Who's Exhibit?
X to the Z?
Yeah. He's got an X on his chest, so.
Oh. They say I walk around like I got an X on my chest.
All right, cool. Well, I think these
I
are.
want to talk about my games.
I think this is a solid lineup of
Kong?
deplorables because I think these are all bad guys.
Deplorables.
Yeah.
That's the name of their movie, The Deplorables. It's
That's
like the
something.
Expendables.
Yeah.
Why is King Kong?
It's
a
almost
bad
like
guy?
it's almost like Monsters versus Aliens or something, you know?
Seriously.
King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters, which you own, right, on Sega?
Yes.
Is that any good?
I think
Well,
I have the
there's
second
but
one.
King of the Monsters 1 and 2 are two different games. Isn't one like a beat 'em up and the other one's a fighting game?
In a way, yeah. I think the second one is more the beat 'em up style.
I gotcha.
Hey, can
And that's
I
what you
believe-
have.
I think
can
so.
tell
I
them
think
about
so.
my games?
It's been so long.
That's the other thing, guys. You got to take pictures of your collections because I almost bought a game twice,
Yeah.
and actually in one case I did buy a game twice or 3 times.
Hey, can I
3
tell them?
times?
Well, I bought 2 games twice, but those I already kind of knew about. That I had the loose carts.
Oh, well, that doesn't count if you're trying to get a
Okay,
complete copy.
I almost bought Suzuki Extreme Racing for Suzuki All Star for Dreamcast, and I looked through my pictures, and I actually already owned it, so I didn't go through that. But it wouldn't have been a bad deal, $10. That wouldn't have been a bad deal.
I'm not too familiar with it. Is it good? Is it like Superman XTT?
So I, kind of, yeah. It's an Acclaim game, I think.
Oh,
But it's got that mechanic though. It feels
arcade like?
yeah. Like I remember I had a demo disc for Dreamcast with Suzuki All Star on it, and it had 1 level, but it was a darn good level. It was a lot of fun. I remember having fun with that and being like, okay, if I get more money, I'm gonna buy this game, and then
It's like the Ridge Racer demo on PlayStation. It was one track, but it was good.
But it was a good track, right? Well, considering that Ridge Racer only had like
three. I think it had 3.
So you got a third of the game in a demo disc.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, can we tell them about this game?
No, actually, we can't.
You want to go first?
That's the only game we can't talk about.
So, go ahead and talk about that game, and nobody's going to be able to see it when you put it up. So we're going to describe it, and maybe we'll put a picture up or something. So the first game, Sal, that is now you don't really do a whole lot with the Game Boy Advance, but you will now because you are now the proud owner of a Game Boy Advance, right? Where's your Game Boy Advance?
All it takes is one game.
Me.
So Sal is now the proud owner of a Game Boy Advance SP 101 model.
A 101, huh?
101.
And I got
which they were looking for, like, I saw them going for about 140 at the show. So
yeah, it's crazy.
It's going wild.
Especially when there's about 100 million of them out there.
You think so, right? How many did the Game Boy Advance sell?
Well, I don't know.
Not this one though.
I don't know how I think they counted them all together as one.
Okay.
Like all 3 models.
Because I know the SpongeBob is a 101 as well. There's a SpongeBob version.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just crazy how expensive those are. Even I think the regular model is like 75.
The sideways one?
No,
the frontlit one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's still good.
No, I know, but I mean, it still like holds the value. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like 150 for that?
Yeah, 140.
Yeah,
it's crazy. That's half of a Switch.
It's expensive, man. That's especially when there's like 100 million of them.
I know. Well, Nintendo's crazy, man.
No, I know.
People love Nintendo.
It's in the name, baby.
I know. What is the game that you got, Sal? We're Spider-Man crazy, right?
Marvel Spider-Man for the Game Boy Advance.
Well, which one? Mysterio's Menace for the Game Boy. So yeah, I mean, this is one that we've been looking for over the past month or so, just because because Salvatore is Spider-Man crazy. I was trying to look up some of the best Spider-Man games that have come out, and this is actually one of the ones that came up. And it's not that expensive of a game. I mean, even online, it's going for about $10-15. And we got it for $5. He had it for $8, and we got it for $5 because we got it with another game. So if you ever can combine 2 games together, generally these vendors are willing to make deals to get some product sales. You like this game? What do you like about it, Sal? You've played a little bit of it now.
I beat the first level. I didn't beat the second level.
Almost.
Because I was playing the second level this morning, and I'll try to beat it.
That's right.
Consistent.
It's a good game for kids his age though, because it's more straightforward of learning some mechanics of swinging, but then just a straight up beat 'em up style. Some web throwing, that kind of thing.
Just kind of standard left to right
So
with a
little a light maze, a light extension type of a thing where there's a little bit more exploration than just
not too aggressive though.
Can I tell them how to web throw?
I don't know if that will work. Can you tell them how to?
So you hit the R button.
You hit the R button to do a web throw.
And that webs them up so that they can't shoot you.
Yeah, and then you have to punch or get down and kick them.
Yep.
And kick their legs and
camera's
them.
Right here.
And trip them.
That's right. No, it looks like a lot of fun. Does it control well?
Yes.
Yeah, everything controls really well. Yeah. It looks good. I mean,
I like how it plays.
I'm just surprised there's so many actually decent Spider-Man games, because I just assume most of them were terrible, just because it's a licensed thing, and I think they were pumping Spider-Man games out left and right.
I mean, they had good studios on it. Like Beanox is a good studio. Treyarch, obviously. I mean, they make Call of Duty, and they were a good studio. Vicarious Visions is a good studio. Didn't they make all the Skylanders games?
Yeah,
I think. I don't know. Or is that Toys for Bob? I think that was Toys for Bob. So I mean, they've had good studios making Next Level Games. Made one of them, I think.
All right.
So, and now, of course, Insomniac's making them. So, I mean, there's some good studios that have been on these things, and the original was Neversoft. Remember the original Spider-Man game, which made Tony Hawk. In fact, that game was based off the Tony Hawk engine.
Oh, that first Spider-Man?
Yep. So that's Sal's first game. The first thing I'm going to talk about is, so we've talked about how the things we want are kind of fewer and farther between, but getting complete Genesis games is something that we kind of strive for. If we've got a loose cart, we kind of value putting it up on the shelf, right, Trent? And so I originally had a cartridge for Shadow of the Beast, and then I talked about in the previous episode how I got the cover art for Shadow of the Beast and was able to finally put it on the wall. Well, yesterday...
This is the definition of piecing it together.
Yesterday, there was a gentleman I bought some other stuff from after I went back around one time. That's the other thing, too. When you get to these conventions, the first thing you see, don't buy it right away. Even if it looks appetizing, you got to do a round before you come back.
You realize I did say that like 20 minutes ago.
I didn't realize that.
That was
sorry. I don't listen when you talk.
It was a whole segment.
I don't realize when you talk. I apologize. I should have heard you. But this is, I did buy one thing when I first saw him, and that was this Shadow of the Beast manual, which has a warning: you will be charged if the instruction booklet is not returned.
Someone obviously didn't return it.
Somebody didn't return it, and here it is.
Now they're wanted.
So now, with the game and the game in the case, we've got the manual, we've got a complete copy, but it is the definition of piecing it together.
We are complete.
So, but this is what excites me more than almost anything now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like piecing things together like this. I gotta staple this up. This is completely loose.
It's like it's like you Mighty Morphin your game.
Yes.
It's like box, art, manual, cartridge.
With our powers combined,
we are complete in box.
Nice. And then I'll just mention this just because this is a funny story. So.
Oh God, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, sort of. So we talked about Felios on a previous podcast.
Felios.
Is that like Emilio?
Yeah.
And who do you think that guy was? Emilio Estevez, the mighty Duckman. I swear to God, I was there.
Of course you were. You were the one who yelled the Breakfast Clubber's name.
I was like, Emilio!
So we talked about that, and we were talking about games that were similar to it. We talked about Dragon Spirit, and then this game, which I am the only owner of this game. This is a copy of Winged Warriors for Nintendo. Excuse me, no, that's not Winged. It would be if it was Winged Warriors, but somebody drew on Legendary Winged, however you want to pronounce it, Warriors for NES, which is a Capcom game, which means quality. And I don't own this game, and it was in a bin. That was a $2 bin, so I got this game for $2.
Rightfully so.
And what I was thinking is, if I got a label for this, it would be more than $2.
Oh no, definitely.
To replace the
It's
label,
gonna cost $3 to ship it.
I almost rather would keep the Winged Warriors because there's a story here that I don't know. Like what happened? Like what is this from the early '90s? And somebody had this copy, and they're like, I don't know what the kid did with this, but I'm gonna just put a title on it just so we can.
They saw the W and it looked like a warrior.
Yeah.
So they're like Winged Warriors.
Winged Warriors, because I see the wings.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They're close.
a nice little shooter. In fact, Trenton has this emulation Game Boy box that we were just testing it out on, and it's a fun game. So for $2, you got to go for it, right?
Do you have to? No.
Yes, you do, because it's worth the conversation we're having right here. That's it.
You have to go for it. You don't have to.
Well, you kind of have to. So, anyways, I kind of am excited about having Legendary Wings in my catalog.
Here's your $2.
That's when it hit me. I'm not even a human.
Here's your
being.
$2.
Imagine if he started telling you the story about it. Yeah, I once had it, and then it got ripped. I'm like,
Here's your $2. Oh boy. Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to start?
I'll just do my one game.
All right, my one game.
Yeah. So this is not a great game, and it was funny because the guy that was selling it, and I saw it in the case. So,
You're not gonna believe what I'm about to tell you.
yeah.
But
Yeah. So I was like, it's like, I gotta get this because I on eBay I bought a few games, and one of them was Atari carts, and they were listed as non-functioning. But so I grabbed them, and I know a guy, Crossface Gaming on TikTok, who said he might be able to salvage some of the games by switching out something on the board. It might have got fried, so I gave him my copy of
probably the game chip itself.
Yeah, so I gave him my copy of Cybermorph to use that as like a throwaway, because if he's gonna take something off that one,
He could use the board from Cybermorph.
Might as well use the cheapest game there is.
Yeah.
But so since I'm a Jaguar nerd now he tried, and he couldn't get it to work, so my Cybermorph was gone. So now I needed another. I guess need.
Need.
I
need more than want.
Yeah, I'm going for the full collection.
Actually,
so.
it's not a want at all.
Yeah, so I need my Cybermorph cart back, and I saw a guy had it for $10.
Is that what it's worth?
It's usually like usually paying $15, but that's with like shipping included. So it's. I mean, I'm not gonna get it any cheaper. I'm not.
Right.
I don't want to pay $15
No.
for this. So I was like, hey man, I'm sure you weren't expecting to hear this today, but I'm gonna buy that copy. But I'm gonna buy
that's coming home with me.
But I'm gonna buy that copy of Cybermorph for the Jaguar. And he's like, no, you're right.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. So yeah, I got.
But he had it out.
Yeah. So I was like, I got another copy of Cybermorph, and it went in my Jag bag, which is very fitting. And that was that was the first.
Did you show off the Jag bag last show?
One of the shows, yeah, because I got it a while ago.
All right.
Yeah. So that was actually the first game I got at the convention.
Yeah.
So we're off to a good start.
Great. I'm not sure. I think Winged Warriors is a better pickup than Cyberpunk.
Oh no, definitely.
But
even if the game didn't work.
Even just for the Nintendo, like just the plastic.
Yeah.
Just fit it on a different game.
Yeah.
Salvatore, do you want to go with your next game, or should I continue with these two right here?
No, I want to go.
You want to go?
You sure? Because you only got 2 games.
Daddy has a few more.
Can I just talk about this?
You can talk about that one, sure. So this came with the Spider-Man Mysterio's Menace, because we got the deal on them.
We're not supposed to talk about that yet.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
We already did.
We talked about Mysterio's Menace.
Oh, I don't remember.
So
You don't remember?
and Salvatore finally got a case for his 3DS. I'm not sure if you can pick that up, but
It's translucent.
he has a clear case, and he also has a red stylus now for his Mario 3DS he's got here. But what game did you get for your 3DS, Salvatore? Sal is drowning in the games at this point.
Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS.
Mario Kart 7. Pick up that mic so people can hear you.
Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS.
So we had some friends over recently, and the kids were playing Mario Kart 8, and I noticed that Salvatore was actually pretty proficient with driving, and I think he's ready for this. He's right on the edge, but I think he's ready. And Mario Kart 7 is kind of like a precursor to Mario Kart 8, which everybody loves, I would say universally for the most part.
Well, 8 does come after 7.
Yeah. But like the hovering or like the
gotcha.
gliding down and all that stuff, that all came from Mario Kart 7, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's got to be number 1 or number 2 in terms of sales on 3DS. Game sales on 3DS. Mario Kart 7's got to be up there.
Wasn't this like close to the launch of it too?
It was early, and then it was packed in. So when you add all those up, I think that this is one of the highest selling 3DS games.
Yeah.
But this is the standalone cart. This is the standalone case, which is always appreciated.
Oh yeah, definitely, bro.
So $15. I don't know what it goes for online complete, but I can't imagine that it goes for much less than that.
Yeah, no, it's fair market value.
Yeah. So I'm happy with it. I think the little guy's happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And now you get to play. Now, so you have Mario Kart 7. You got Super Smash Brothers. You got Minecraft for your 3DS. You are developing a solid 3DS lineup, Sal.
Real solid.
I think I need all the 3DS and DS games.
Yeah. Well, that is an aspiration. So
that is a goal.
yeah. So we've talked about how Spider-Man dominates our thoughts these days, and so these are not really expensive games, but they're ones that I missed early on, and I think it's something happened between the switch from Dreamcast to PS2 where I just kind of missed these, or maybe I was just kind of jaded because I loved the old Spider-Man game. These are the movie games, but it's Spider-Man 1 and 2 on the GameCube and PS2 respectively. And these are multi-platform releases, so you can get these on GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2, and surprisingly, Spider-Man 2 you can get, Trenton, on the N-Gage.
Oh, is it Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, which is rated actually pretty well.
Oh.
Not sure how you play that on the N-Gage, but
I actually do. Now that you mention, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah,
I think it's just like the PS1 version of the game.
So these are highly regarded games from back then. I'm not sure how they hold up, but I figured I kind of have to get them now, considering we're collecting all these Spider-Man games, and is that how you really feel about it?
No, I'm trying to ask a question.
Yeah. So my buddy Kevin had this one for $15. He gave it to me for $10, which was really nice, and then Spider-Man 2, I got in a lot of 3 games for $20. So what is that? Less than $7
Yeah.
for Spider-Man 2. So, and I was taking a look at a video, and I think all 3 versions of the main platform versions are about the same. I mean, Xbox and GameCube might look a little bit better.
Hey, Daddy.
You know, they generally do.
There's Venom in
I mean,
this
does
game?
that one has an $18 sticker on it? It seems like that's aggressively high
Probably,
for that.
but that's probably why they put it in the $20 bin
Yeah,
for the buy 3 and make people feel like they get a deal. So, you know, both of them are complete, which is cool, and you know, so you know, we'll have to check those out. What do you think, little guy?
Let's.
Oh, you're gonna decide whether we're gonna.
That's Green Goblin.
That's Green Goblin with his pumpkin bombs.
That doesn't look like Norman Osborn.
Awesome. So Uncle Trenton, if you want to get going with your second game, what do we got over there?
We got a lot going on over here. This is where the party's at.
What about that figure that you have? We haven't talked about that.
Hey, don't tell me what to do. So let's talk about the figure. I mean, there's not too much about it. This is a vendor that I saw a couple weeks ago at a toy show, and actually I'm gonna see him in like a couple more weeks.
At the Toy Con?
Yeah, at another toy show that in New Haven.
That's in December, right?
No, November, in 2 weeks.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Isn't there one in December coming
Yeah,
up?
there is a December one too. Yeah, I am also doing that one as well. But yeah, I saw him at the last toy show, and he didn't have a ton of wrestling stuff, but this time he did. And actually, my other friend Tyler bought a Hasbro ring off of him earlier in the day. So I was like, hey man, I'm giving you lots of business here already.
There you go.
Because then you ended up buying something for
I
him.
did.
And he actually.
Oh, this is Andrew.
He actually had the LJN, the ring
Yes.
with the cage.
I saw
and
that.
filled with a bunch of figures.
Yes.
They were all pretty much like the common ones you'd find out all the time. But he did have
Big John Stud.
yeah, you know, King Kong Bundy, you know, Ricky Steamboat.
Yep.
He did have the Dynamite Kid from the Bulldogs, the tag team.
You have those, don't you?
Yeah. You got me those ones with the tag belts.
Yep.
So I grabbed the classy Freddy Blassie for all you.
Now, I don't know-
for all you pencil neck geeks.
I don't know
there.
this guy.
Yeah, it was before your time, before our time.
Before our time.
Yeah. I mean, he was around in the mid '80s, but he wasn't around too much after that.
Well, he looks old in this
Yeah,
figure, and
yeah.
that was, what, 85?
yeah.
So,
So he was probably like 60 like then, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, one of the managers, I was pretty sure I didn't have it. Hopefully I don't. But it was only $10.
Got to take pictures.
I'm
I'm sure you could resell it if you
Yeah,
need
it was
to.
only $10. I mean, he doesn't have his cane, which is I'm not spending $30 for a cane.
Oh.
Yeah, he has like the cane.
Oh, okay, like Mr. Fuji style?
Yeah. But I mean, that's fine. He's in fairly good condition. It looks like someone tried to touch him up on some parts, but
That black spot in the back, can you get that off?
yeah, I should be able to get that off. But I was like, yeah, man, for $10, he's in fairly good condition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can get any LJN for like $10 in good condition is a real good deal, since those are skyrocketing too.
One of the only things they really did well.
What? The LJN?
Yeah, LGN figures.
I mean, they're so hard to get because everyone that had them just
beat them to crap. They actually played with them, guys.
So they're
remember
all
when we actually played with our toys and didn't just leave them in packages
Yeah,
and put them up on a shelf?
It would just be like you just like smacking them against each other, and then all the paint would come off on them. So when you find someone in good condition, you gotta grab them.
But that's why the memories are created.
Round up pencil neck geeks.
That's what he says.
That's what that was his thing.
His pencil neck geeks, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
There
Cool.
he is. Classy Freddy.
Looking like Ronald McDonald.
yeah. Yeah, you know.
Okay. Well,
All right.
what are we doing now? Who wants to go next? You want to stay with you?
Dad, can I do my last game?
You want to do your last game?
Yeah.
Do your last game. What else you got? It's gonna be. You guys are not gonna be able to guess what this could possibly be
It's
I'm gonna say it's Superman.
no.
for Nintendo 64.
It's
What is it, Sal? Make sure you speak clearly into the microphone.
It is Spider-Man: Edge of Time for the DS.
Get out of here.
Nice. Also a part of the $20 deal that we got.
Oh, the three
I
the
didn't
3
even
for
check
20.
what
Yeah.
was in.
I didn't check what's inside. Oh, you got Brain Age too.
No, man.
No manual, but that's okay. So Edge of Time, that's
It
it.
has the game in it.
I don't know much about this game, if it's more of a Metroidvania or if it's a straight up beat 'em up.
It has
looks
anti-venom in it.
it looks like kind of a mixture of it, but supposed to be a Spider-Man game.
Yep.
Trying to find things to buy at these shows is getting harder and harder. So you see something that might be, piquing the interest of maybe the future generation, for $10.
Not all about you anymore.
For $7 or less than $7, I'm gonna go for it. So you have plenty of Spider-Man options at this point on what you want to play. So this will be one
Too
of
many
them.
options,
Yeah, it can be argued. It can be argued. So, anyways, another Spider-Man game.
Mm-hmm.
You're excited about that?
Yes.
So I think you've got a lot of options on your 3DS now on what you want to play.
Hey, Daddy, can I play
No.
this game?
Yeah, you want to
Wait.
sit on the couch and play it while Uncle Trenton and Daddy finish the episode?
Yeah.
All right.
That's how excited he is to play. He's going to leave the episode early to play games.
No.
Well, then what are you doing?
No, he's gonna be in the episode. He's just gonna be not in the episode.
No,
at the
I
same
know.
time.
That's how excited he is.
Yeah.
No, that's not how excited I am.
No? You want to go play it right now? That's the definition of excited to play it.
Well, I'm excited to play it.
We'll agree to
don't,
disagree.
Don't ask, Trenton. Don't ask. All right, so let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling.
Rolling Star.
You know what? I'll talk about these two together, and then we'll go with what you got over there because I got them together. So these two games coming up next, I got together
Mine are together as well.
as a group, and there's no way, shape, or form you could ever see these two together at any point in time other than what I grabbed them for, because they would have never been associated with one another, except in this instance. So we've talked about how getting complete or at least box copies of games is important. Surprisingly, guys, I don't have a complete in-box copy of this game until now, and that game is the original Streets of Rage for Sega Genesis Black Box. Recognize, as they say.
Better recognize.
It is complete, and he was asking $55 for it, so I was able to make a deal, and I got it actually for $50. When you look at all the concessions made, I do have a copy of it sitting up back there.
So you're gonna get some money back at least.
Possibly, or I'll
you
just
might
keep
just
it.
hold on to it.
I might just hold on to it. But this is, I don't know if we haven't done a Streets of Rage episode yet, have we?
Oh man, surprisingly no.
I don't think we have. But this is a game. So I got my Genesis in June of 1991, and this game came out right around the same time. And so very shortly after getting the Sega, we got Streets of Rage. So imagine you get Sonic the Hedgehog right when it comes out, and then about, I don't know, other way around, Sal. And push it tight. There you go. He's still getting the hang of the GBA.
It's got to
everybody.
click.
There you go. Now turn it on.
You just had it.
No. You got to turn it off before you pull out the game. So turn it off and turn it back on. You're gonna break the thing. No. Leave it. Now turn it on. You got. Can everybody hear the GBA sound?
Yeah, definitely.
Does it work? Yeah. Okay.
He did it.
All right. Keep the volume low because we don't want everybody hearing your. Yeah. So imagine getting that at the same time. So it was a special moment in time, and Streets of Rage is a very, very, very special game. It's at the top of the pantheon, as we say.
I can't remember the last time I played regular Streets of Rage.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I mean, everybody talks about Streets of Rage 2, and I get it. But I actually think the music in Streets of Rage 1 is slightly better. Slightly better. 4 days out of 7, Streets of Rage 1's music is better than Streets of Rage 2.
4 7.
4 days out of 7.
All right.
The other 3 days, Streets of Rage 2 takes
Yeah,
the
someone's got to take that extra day.
right,
You know?
right. It's like there's got to be a tiebreaker. It was like Sal's game yesterday. I mean, it had to go into overtime. Somebody had to score,
Yeah.
right?
That is true, my friend.
So good, nice to have that completed up in terms of the trilogy there. And then this game, I don't know what it is with me and this series.
I mean,
I don't know what it is.
it's good stuff.
And I don't think it's celebrated as much because I think there's another game in the genre for this system that everybody talks about, including my new best bud Tony.
Everything was compared to that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, this started before that because that game came, anyways.
That's not always a factor.
What's not always a factor?
Well, I'm saying it usually doesn't matter,
Oh, that it came out earlier?
Yeah.
So the series is Turok, which I love Turok 1. And so, of course, I have to, seek out more of that. So I already own this game loose, but now I own it complete, and that's Turok 2.
Gotta love that box, though.
Which has got the box that's got the
raised...
The textured, the textured front, which is really, really cool. So, yeah, I mean, the guy had 24 on it. He wanted $24, and
which means he wants 20 because you don't put $24
right.
on a game if you don't want 20 for it.
The box is a little compromised, but it's not terrible, and comes with the manual. And so between Streets of Rage and this, I got them both for $70. So I would call that 20 for this, and
50 for that.
I mean, $20 in box for a 64 game
for any game.
Especially of Turok's caliber. I know this game's not heralded as like the first one, but it's still a pretty good game. So it's one.
Have you played the second one?
No,
no.
I think I rented it once, but I played it very briefly. I didn't get a whole lot into it. So
and then you just picked it up later, and
then I picked it up later. I just haven't gotten to it. Yeah, but it's it looks pretty cool. I mean, you look at the pictures on the back; it looks like there's more texture work in this game.
And expansion pack compatible.
It is expansion pack compatible, which I don't even know if I'd want to use.
Yeah.
The higher res mode, because is this one of the games where the higher res mode makes it?
It was like half the games that you were use the expansion pack.
Yeah.
It was like look better, but then it would be 20 frames per second.
Yeah. So this was 1998, and the game I was comparing this to or talking about was obviously GoldenEye, and GoldenEye came out in 98 too, right?
I thought 97.
Or 97.
I think 97.
But GamePro says that Turok 2 Seeds of Evil is the best first-person shooter for the Nintendo 64. And I'm not saying that Turok 2 is better than GoldenEye. I'm just saying that I think Turok doesn't get enough credit.
Well, it's a GamePro quote. I mean, what do you want?
Right. Well, Next Generation says it's an absolute must-have 5 out of 5 stars, which I don't know if that's true either. And then the always reliable Nintendo Power says stunningly modeled and animated enemies hunt Turok with uncanny intelligence. That might be the most appropriate thing.
It's the most non-review.
Right. This is a game that is advanced from the previous version.
It's like the politically correct way to say nothing about the game.
Yeah. Well, IGN 64, which was IGN 64 at the time, said,
"Damn, how many quotes did they pull?
The most impressive creatures ever put into a video game."
Well,
there looks like a pregnant spider here, ready to lay an egg or something.
Just saying the graphics are good.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm sure they couldn't have messed with it too much. I mean, if it just plays like the first one, it's got to be decent,
right? Right. So, you want to go with your next game?
Oh, that was the last of the multi packs.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got a crazy dog loose.
Oh, we got a dog in here.
Dog.
It's my brown doggy.
So these are actually the last two games I picked up from the convention. I kind of went into the convention not really specifically looking for anything. Just something caught my eye that I might need it because as we mentioned many times, we're at the point where there's not too many needs left. But these were a couple. I wasn't necessarily looking for this first game, which is X Zone on the Super Nintendo, which is a Super Scope game, and I ended up finding a Super Scope at Goodwill last year. So I was like,
let me tell you something. The next time you play your Super Scope, you will be the only one playing Super Scope at that time.
It. So yeah, I found a Super Scope for like $20 in the box. So I was like, well, I guess
there's much more talking about Super Scope these days than there is playing of Super Scope.
No, I mean, no one had it back then, and no one has it now.
No, I can remember being at a party, and this isn't the same system, but I remember seeing at Pat Musen's birthday party playing Zoop or like the six. What was the six?
That was a puzzle game.
What was the six? The Menacer game where there was like 6 games in one.
Yeah, I don't know what they were all called.
No, what was that compilation called?
It was literally called like
the Menacer six pack or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember the bazooka on the shoulder and saying to myself, wait a minute. We went from light guns to this monstrosity?
The Menacer? Well, I mean, that's how the Super Scope sits, like, on your shoulder.
Yes,
like
but it's a case where bigger is not necessarily better.
No, I agree. I mean, I've never played it, so I can't tell you.
I just remember seeing. I was like, "What are they doing? Like, what?"
Yeah. Can't we just use a gun?
Like, you want a chance? I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'll just watch you guys."
Yeah. So this was. I mean, it was like $20. Because I kind of want to get like all the super. I think there's only like 6.
To be
Super Scope
fair,
games.
that first level where there's the scaling while you're
You're
parachuting in
down.
does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good use of the Mode 7 graphics.
Even
that
has
the Super
has
Nintendo
the
does.
X-Zone poster with it, which no game room is,
that's
is
true.
complete without it.
Well, that's gonna stay in the package. That's how much you love it.
But yeah, there's only a few more. Yeah, guys, I have Yoshi's Safari. I got this Menacer 6-pack. I got Battle Clash and Metal Combat.
How many are left? Like, what are you missing?
I think there's one other game. I can't remember the name of it. But that one's a little harder to find. And I think that'll be all of them. And at the same time, I also grabbed Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks for the PS2, which is, I think it's like a forgotten game.
It's forgotten because I own it and I didn't know I had it.
Yeah, because you were looking when we got back. He was looking at the copy I bought. He's like, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Is that like the game where you can like you can like play as Baraka, and then he goes into his thing and he's like, oh, I have Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. I'm like, that's the game you were just looking
That's
at.
literally the game we were just talking about. I was like, oh, I guess I own it. That's the problem with collecting.
Yeah, this was around like the 2005 era. So I think they had dabbled.
Mortal Kombat didn't know what it wanted to be.
Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat Deception had came out around then, or
I think that's the one I was thinking of that you rented.
or was
that
that Deadly Alliance?
Deadly
or
Alliance?
something?
It was one of them where you could play as Baraka.
But the Deadly Alliance was a straight up fighting game, like 3D fighter.
Maybe my memory's not
Baraka-
serving me correctly, but I thought there was a beat 'em up style 3D beat 'em up fighting adventure game where you could play as Baraka, going through some kind
Maybe
of
it's in this because I remember playing this for a little bit. But yeah, this is.
or you fight against Baraka
They made-
as a mini boss or something.
Yeah, they made they turned the game of your Kung Lao and Liu Kang into like a 2D. I mean, not 2D, 2-player like 3D beat 'em up style game.
You can
which
play
is-
2-player.
Yeah,
Oh, that's straight up.
yeah. So I mean, we definitely got to try at least like fire it up and see how it plays. I mean, it's supposed to be really good. I remember playing it back in the day and really enjoyed it because I'm all about the beat 'em ups.
Absolutely.
So this is one that I don't really. I mean, I'm starting to beef up my PS2 collection a little bit.
Yeah.
Haven't been buying like
There's some
wait.
good stuff. I mean, there's 1,000 million
I know.
PS2 games. It's hard to even focus. It's like being at the ice cream truck and having 50 options. It's like, just give me 3.
Yeah, just in like the past year, I've been picking not anything expensive, but I've just been finding a few more like games that I want to keep like here and there. Whereas in the
Well, you find a lot of. I saw this recently. You found like dozens of games.
but in like the past few years before, I hadn't been really picking up like any PS2 games. I don't know why. I mean, I was into it for a little bit, and then I don't know. I just kind of lost interest in the PS2. Now it's coming back a little
Yeah,
bit.
like if you had to tell me, like, what do you like about the PS2? I'd be like, GTA. Like, I don't know what to say, So, but that's a cool one. You got that for a decent deal too.
Yeah, I got both. I got both of them together for like 40, I think.
Yeah. All right. You want to save that for last?
Yeah, I guess so. Because it's
All right.
technically the last one I picked up.
It was. So with that $20 deal that I got the 2 Spider-Man games, and I saw this game as part of the deal, and maybe just for the story, I don't know. I've never actually played this game before, but I bought this game before.
That's a story in itself.
Yeah.
You mean like retail?
Correct. So we were at the Eastbrook Mall when I was a kid, and I had
Where shopping fun begins.
$55 to blow.
Oh man, this is a sad story already.
And I was at the KB, and I was all by my lonesome because my mother was somewhere
At JCPenney.
JCPenney and doing some shopping. And so she said, go to the KB and I'll come and pick you up in a few minutes. That's when you could leave like a 8-year-old.
Yeah, I used to do that all the
You
time.
could just leave an 8-year-old with the squeaky oinky pigs in the front of KB.
Yeah,
and
just hey, I'll meet me in the middle,
in the toy aisle.
right out front, in what,
and
20
where the
minutes or
figures
whatever.
are, or whatever, yeah, whatever. And so I was like, well, I got $55. Like, as an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old to have $55, that was like.
You're a made man.
So I was like, I'm coming home with the Genesis game. So my brother was with me, my older brother, and he, this might be one of the best things he's ever done for me. Maybe not the best thing he's ever done. It's definitely not the best thing he's ever done for me, but this is close to it. I'm joking. So I decided to buy. I don't know why I did this. Maybe because I like Punch-Out. I don't know. I decided to buy James Buster Douglas Boxing for $49.99.
Hey, I'm sure you weren't the only one.
On Sega Genesis, which is a conversion of the Taito Mega Drive game from Japan. I think it was called Final Blow.
Pause?
Thank you. It's a pretty pristine copy. I mean, it's...
You're trying to justify it.
No, I'm just saying it because nobody played it.
Yeah.
It's in great shape. I mean, it almost looks like it was never opened. So maybe this is all coming full circle. So I buy this game, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this looks really good. It's got like a sideways view.
I mean, the graphics do look really, like, they're huge. Like,
They're huge. The sprites look huge. And back in 1990, this was that was like a...
Did you even know who
deal.
Buster Douglas was then, or...
I did, only because...
I wouldn't have known.
It was a big deal in our house that Mike Tyson lost. That was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And so, because we thought he was immortal. And he was on the front of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So James Buster Douglas won the match, so he must be the next Mike Tyson. And then Sega gets the Mike Tyson game, which is now called, well, the analog to that.
Yeah.
Which is James Buster Douglas Boxing. So I was really excited about this game, and I wanted to show my brother because we were both Genesis heads, and so they come and meet me, and he's like, "Oh, what'd you buy?" And so I pull this game out, and he just goes, "Oh no! Why did you do that?" I was like, "Why? What's wrong?" He's like, "That game's terrible." He goes, "Don't buy that game." He goes, "Bring that game back now." So I was like, oh, all right. I felt bad, but I was like, okay, well.
Oh, so you actually brought it back.
So we're still at the mall, and I have my receipt. I had the bag, and so we returned this. And what did we buy with the money?
Uh-oh. A worse game?
Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior Bash 'em Buddies.
Oh, oh, definitely way better.
Which was a way better decision because those were $25 each, and so it was the same price combined.
So it was an even trade.
It was an even trade, and it was such a better it was. Now I'm not saying that James Buster Douglas Boxing is a terrible game.
Are you? Or
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that compared to what we switched it out for,
there's
and to pay $50 for this game, a game of this ilk, of this quality, at that point in time would have been a mistake.
Oh no, for sure.
$6.70 in 2021 is a different story for a complete
just to
hobby.
have the story,
right? So that was my story about James Buster Douglas Boxing, which I to this day have never had an opportunity to play.
So maybe we'll just leave it at that.
It's gonna be like Baby Boy, the movie.
Yeah.
Where I have it, but I always say we're gonna watch it, and then we never do.
Yeah, I know. I gave it to you about 6 years ago.
6 years ago, yeah. That was like 2 homes ago for me. But that's the story about James Buster Douglas Boxing. So,
and you're probably the only person with a story about James Buster Douglas Boxing.
That's what our podcast is all about. That's what it's all about, is stories and going back to our history. So, that's the funny thing is we always say how it's the games that we played when we were kids.
Yeah,
this is one that's sort of like
you had the intent of playing it.
I owned this game for a good
17
minutes.
Yeah.
So technically I did have it, but alas. But it's funny that I remember that.
Wait, when you say you were in the store, were you by yourself or were you with your brother?
No, I was by myself.
They actually let you buy
because he was with. I think he was with my mother. Like they were around the mall. I think she went to JCPenney, and then I think she went over to. I don't even know if JCPenney was in the mall at the time. I think this was before JCPenney.
Oh, I thought JCPenney was always in the mall.
No, JCPenney wasn't always in the mall.
So it was just Caldor?
Because Sage Allen was in that area that JCPenney was in, and Caldor was where Kohl's is now.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So that was...
Yeah, you might be right, actually.
But I know that
having a flashback.
I know they went to Strawberries, because Sebi was into music, and he probably was getting a CD for his Discman.
Right.
And then they probably came back, and that's when he saw... Because I met them... I actually met them, if memory serves me correctly, I met them in the area where there's that ramp that goes back towards the back side of the mall where Two Brighties used to be.
And Nassif's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nassif's was right there, and Strawberries was right there.
Yeah.
And so that's that right where those plants are on that ramp. I think I met him right there.
The fern gullies.
Yeah. And that's where he told me, "You're not coming home with this game.
You made a huge mistake.
Yeah, don't do that."
Oh, that would just make a bad mistake.
But the Bash and Buddies, I have way better memories.
Oh, of course.
Like, that was an awesome thing to own.
Those would last for years, you know.
They were so stained after a while and dirty, and
you know.
but we played, you know, because that was a big deal. 1991, right? You know, coming off of WrestleMania 6 and everything, and you know the big feud between Hogan and the
You're
Warrior.
not wrong, baby. You're not wrong.
It was a special thing.
Worlds colliding.
You know what? Why don't you talk about your thing? Because I want to end on a game note, and that's just way too weird.
So the last thing I bought, which I didn't know they were going to be there until they posted earlier in the morning, which is the Archive, which they're out of Bridgeport / Vinegar Syndrome, where they're a retail store where they sell Blu-rays, movies, records, like the one-stop shop for all your needs. But they also take old movies that some haven't been released or were limited releases, and they'll put them on Blu-ray, come out in limited edition steel books, or have all this stuff. So I went and saw in Seymour, they have a theater, and they were showing like these two like indie movies, and then they actually had some previews before, and this movie was on their preview.
It's just so weird that you kind of, at least they do it right.
Yeah, and the movie looks so ridiculous. I'm like, this. I was like, I need to know when this is coming out.
But let me tell you what, they do it right. The art on that is amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they literally did everything for this. Cause,
this place in Bridgeport?
So, yeah. So this movie is called The New York Ninja.
Show the back of it too.
Yeah, I'll put a zoom in because this is like a nice box. So apparently this movie had never come out, and all they had was the negative film reel, and they had to supposedly they had to piece it together.
It actually they did a great job because I saw the trailer. It looks really good.
And they had to piece it together and pretty much make a storyline from it too, because it had never been finished.
It seems like the voices match the faces a little bit though. Like there's some, you know, like,
and so they had to dub over all the voices for it. So I mean, they put a lot of work into this. I mean, this cover
passion
art,
project.
Yeah, this cover art is great. It comes in a magnetic folding box. The Blu-ray I haven't taken out. It's got a nice little I think it's like a little making of booklet, and then I also got
that's like a coffee table piece right there.
Then I also got the sweet New York Ninja movie poster.
They should make T-shirts of that.
Yeah,
they should make T-shirts of that.
I heart New York Ninja. There's something holding us down. It's that damn ninja. So it's gonna be one of those so bad it's good movies.
Can you put the trailer in this? Like, could you?
I don't know.
Would it be copyrighted infringement?
I mean, I could put like a clip of it. Probably that one part. I don't know. If you can go on YouTube and look up New York Ninja trailer. It's amazing. It's everything you want in a movie called New York Ninja.
It's one of those. It's so bad that it's great.
Yeah, but man, this art is awesome. I mean, you know, it is money well spent because it's a limited release. You know, I feel like I got my money's worth with it because they put a lot of time and effort into it.
But think about it too. Like 5 years ago, you probably wouldn't buy that because you'd be so focused on the games that you're looking for.
Yeah. That's what.
You wouldn't spend $35 on that. But now it opens up.
Yeah, because this was the last thing I bought, and I was like, well, if I don't spend a lot during the day, then this is something I'll grab at the end of the show, and that's what I did. You know,
right? I'm
happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I had an opportunity to buy Virtua Cop 2 in the big box with the gun and all the accoutrements, and she wanted $120 for it, which is not a bad price. But I said, you know what? Let me see if I can just get a bunch of other stuff instead, and I was able to do that, and I'm happier for it. Even though as much of a Saturn head as I am, and I want to get like everything for it, you know, it was kind of nice to diversify my purchases a little bit. What were you gonna say?
I was saying there was one thing I was looking at that I almost thought about getting was
that?
A guy had the Atari Lynx.
Oh yeah.
In box. It was like mint in the plastic with all the inserts and everything. I wanted $210 for it. I mean, it's nice, but I was like,
I don't know how much you gonna get out of that.
No, I know. It's just something, it's a want. It's a want.
It's a want. Well, I saw somebody had a complete in box Resident Evil 2 for 64 as well. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, it was like it's like 100 something.
He wanted 140 for it. So that's a lot of coin to put down. Again, 140 for one game. Would you play through that? I appreciate you being honest about it.
I want to say yes.
It'll
take me 7 years, but I'll get there.
Just got to use a guide. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Get to the last game, which is not crazy.
Speaking of New York ninjas.
Speaking of New York ninjas, I don't know why. Maybe dragons have something to do with ninjas, but so my buddy Andrew was there. I haven't seen him in a long time, so it was good to catch up. And he had this game, which I've been looking for. This was actually one of the remaining ones on my list that I wanted. It's a Sega CD game, which is always appreciated.
I love it.
Again, look out for the Sega CD, man. Love the Sega CD. And so I would call this game, and I was describing this at the show, kind of like a poor man's Snatcher. And when I say poor man's Snatcher, I just mean it doesn't cost as much
no
as Snatcher.
Disrespect.
Because it's actually a really good story and plays very, very similarly. And that's Rise of the Dragon, which we've talked about on this show before, because I think you got it in a previous episode.
Yeah, that was one I had to piece together.
Yep.
Because he had just the case there.
It was
at the Expo too.
But you had no disc, so you had to get the disc.
Yeah, I think I got it I think the case was 15.
And then you got the game for like 15 or something like that. 10 or 15.
Yeah.
So, Andrew had it for 40. He gave it to me for 30. And, so that was appreciated. But it's complete in box. It even comes with a foam. And it's an MA-17 rated game.
That was one of the first games I had on. I remember buying it at KB for like $20.
It's a great game. Again, another game you want to use a guide for. But it's really interesting because the whole game is like this, sort of a third-person or first-person adventure game.
Yeah,
where there's stills.
Click.
It's like a point and click, stills type of a game. But then the last scene or the last stretch of the game is a side-scrolling action game.
Yeah, I never.
Where you're
never
running
got
through.
that far.
And so I have cleared this game before. But
oh, you have?
Yeah. Yeah, but I followed a guide.
How'd you play it?
I owned it.
Oh, you did?
I owned it back. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't ask me how. I don't remember. What you owned and what you didn't own throughout the early 2000s is kind of it's tough to remember because back then we didn't value the games as much as we did 10 years after that. So there were times where you'd own things and you'd get rid of things and then you'd buy things and it wasn't a big deal.
Yep.
And now it is. So you over the last 10 years I could tell you pretty much everything that I've done, but that 2000s era was kind of hard to remember. So either way, it was a great game to play. Even with a guide, it was just fun to see the action play out in the game, and they did a really good job with it. So
I had that and like Jurassic Park at the same time, and they're like similar gameplay, like the point and click style.
Yeah. How is that Jurassic Park?
Going back to when I had it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid playthrough.
So it's funny because this is made by Dynamics and that they're a part of Sierra. So this is a Sierra game.
Yeah, I think they made.
So think like King's Quest and think like Space Quest, Police Quest.
I think they did
and those kinds of games.
Willy Beamish too. I think
did they?
That's Dynamics. I could be wrong, but I think so.
Yeah. So Sierra does adventure games well.
Yeah, which is another like point and click game.
Yeah.
Willy Beamish.
So if you guys haven't played this game, if you like the idea of owning a game like Snatcher, but you don't want to spend $1,000 or whatever that costs, go for Rise of the Dragon because I think you're going to have a similar experience and really, really enjoy it and not have to plunk down that much money, and you can own an official copy. So look out for Rise of the Dragon. And, I think that, it was a pretty solid day. I mean, I feel like I got more than I thought. By the time we sat down for lunch, I had 2 games, Winged Warriors and Spider-Man 1. That was all I had. And then, towards the end of the day, we were able to make some deals, which was really nice, and get some stuff. But, it was just great to be back. Just great to be back in a setting where you get to be with, people that are like-minded and into the same stuff that you are, and be able to mix in and just have fun, doing what we're supposed to do, which is to live and enjoy. So any last thoughts, Trent, on the show?
That was my thought.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to. I'm already looking forward to next year.
And Syracuse, the retro.
They're coming back.
Yeah, retro Game Con.
Yeah, I think they're doing it a little bit earlier. I think it's September.
That'd be nice
next year.
Yep. Sal, you want to go to Syracuse next year for the show?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, so just a little bit of housekeeping, guys. So we are going to be recording our Twisted Metal episode next, which we've been talking about for, it seems like, a few months. Hopefully we'll have a guest on that, actually, which would be nice. And then...
Oh, we will?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get Ryan on the show, because Ryan's a PS1 head.
Oh, ooh, wow.
Yep, Ryan from Retro Games Plus. We're going to try to get Ryan on here if we can. And
That'd be nice.
We're taking suggestions for our Christmas episode because we're early enough where we probably can take some suggestions from you guys. So if there is a Christmas themed game that you'd want us to cover, we'll try to make sure that it's a game that we've played, or a game that came out during the holiday season that you think would be a good one to cover, or has some sort of snow level. Feel
Ice
free
Age.
to, huh?
Ice Age. For
Yeah, Ice Age, exactly. Happy Feet. Star Wars, yeah, that's a good Christmas game. So, if you guys have a suggestion, please feel free to make it, and we'll see if we can fit it into that episode.
We'll take any suggestion at this point.
We will. So,
first suggestion wins.
With that being said, we hope you guys are having a splendid day. Remember that all good things come from above, and be safe, be happy, be healthy, and as always, Trenton, as always, Salvatore, keep it turbo.